A single nuclear weapon today could kill millions in just minutes. Just one of these nuclear bombs would vaporize everything at its core: people, buildings, life itself.
That was Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, remembering the horrors caused in Hiroshima and Nagasaki and warning the world of a potential nuclear war.
In a video posted on social media, Gabbard slams political elites and warmongers for bringing the world closer to the brink of nuclear annihilation. Let's take a look.
Because as we stand here today, closer to the brink of nuclear annihilation than ever before, political elite and warmongers are carelessly fomenting fear and tensions between nuclear powers. Perhaps it's because they are confident that they will have access to nuclear shelters for themselves and for their families that regular people won't have access to.
People on both sides of the aisle pushed back on Gabbard's video. Josh Hammer, host of The Josh Hammer Show, wrote on X, "The United States should never ever apologize for President Truman's correct decision to bomb Hiroshima and Nagasaki to finally end the war in the Pacific." Jesse Kelly, host of The Jesse Kelly Show, wrote on X, 3 things. 1, I agree with dropping the bombs. 2, not agreeing with dropping bombs on civilians is a perfectly reasonable take. Many felt the same way at the time. World War II isn't a religion. 3, she's talking about preventing a future nuclear war and the cost of it.
The editor-in-chief of the left-wing Midas Touch, Ron Filipkowski, also chimed in. DNI Tulsi Gabbard repeats Putin's talking points today, releasing an unhinged video where she claims that political elites want a nuclear war with Russia because they have sophisticated bomb shelters that will help them survive it. Where to begin with this, Amber?
It's interesting. Pushback from both sides, as we mentioned. Look, I think it's possible to understand the U.S.'s decision-making in dropping the nuclear bomb and trying to end the war and perhaps prevent significant American casualties, and also recognize that it is still a very dark day in world history, that it had massive civilian casualties. And I think if she would have ended the video by saying, and that's why we can never let Iran have a nuclear weapon,
right,
maybe it would have been received better. But I just don't find these two views mutually exclusive.
Well, so first of all, I agree with you about her foregrounding Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I think it is, yes, I understand the arguments, which was that even with the massive death toll from those, the dropping of the atomic bombs, that there would have been a greater death toll had you had to fight on with a land war in the Pacific. But I do think that the crossing of the atomic bomb Rubicon in that respect, and the killing of an estimated 210,000 people at the time, and all the people who have died from radiation exposure since, I think that was, you used the word bleak day or dark day, and I think that's right. So credit to her for saying that. Now, it's interesting whether you interpret it as being about Iran. I interpret it as, I think some people on the left are doing, as being about Russia and Ukraine, because obviously Tulsi Gabbard is very well known for being, let me try to put this neutrally, very skeptical of support for Ukraine, and I think that she therefore gets criticism for being overly sympathetic to Russia. And so when she starts talking about elites and their nuclear shelters and people plotting essentially to bring the world to the brink or into a nuclear war, I took her to mean people who are vigorous supporters of Ukraine.
I also read it, though, in relation to Iran, because we also have people who have been quite reticent for the Trump administration to negotiate directly with Iran, to leave Israel out of some of those discussions, to try to spur the U.S. to side with Israel in an attack on Iran, which we talked about last week with the Mark Levin debate. He wasn't happy about what we said on the show.
He wasn't happy with you.
No, he
wasn't. Mind liberal criticism, but he wasn't happy with you.
No, he wasn't thrilled, but that's okay. I don't mind. But yeah, I think it could be. It's probably about both things. I think it's generally about this sort of split in the Republican Party and even in the Democrats, right, where you have these sort of non-interventionist wings of both parties, and then you have the neocons and neoliberals in the middle who have been, over the past 20 years, very happy to get themselves into forever wars that don't have a seeming goal at the end, because there's always the the underlying protection of, well, the U.S. is the greatest nuclear power in the world. And so I think she's hinting at some of those tensions among the American elites in their decision to send people to war, to want to spur on conflict, as opposed to just like Putin propaganda.
Yeah, I mean, I think that one of the difficulties with the video is that what specifically she means is open to interpretation.
It's a little vague.
Yeah, I mean, she, of course, expresses regret or sadness about what happened with the dropping of the atomic bombs, but beyond that, is she having a go at the John Bolton type figures who are your classic neocons and let's bomb everywhere, or is she having a go at the people who are supportive of Ukraine? One of the things that frustrates me, if it's the Ukraine side of it, is that I don't think the anti-interventionist side in that respect really grapples fully with the consequences of Russia winning, of a Russia invasion of another sovereign country prevailing. And so I think that there is sometimes just a sort of willful ignoring of the consequences of that. Yes, you can make the arguments that she makes about NATO expansionism and all of those things, but like there is the bottom line question about, do we just allow Russia to invade neighboring countries and do nothing about it?
Yeah, and I think, to be fair, the Trump administration has made pretty clear that they want some kind of negotiation, ultimate peace agreement between Ukraine and Russia. But they also don't want Russia to just like run roughshod over the whole process. And Trump had that tweet recently where he talked about his phone call with Putin, where he felt like he was not living up to his end of the deal, that they weren't really anywhere closer to reaching a peace agreement because Putin was being so obstinate. So actually, I think his posture on this has been pretty spot on.
Fair enough. We'll agree to mildly disagree.
Up next, veteran ABC News correspondent Terry Moran has been fired days after his suspension for lashing out at President Trump and Stephen Miller on X.